Good morning, class. In today's English class, we will continue with the chapter Alice in Wonderland. In our previous classes, we have already covered the explanation of the chapter, concept map, and hard words. Today, we will move ahead with meanings, true, false, and who said to whom. So let's start. The first word is cuttling. Children, scuttling means running hurriedly with short, quick steps. That means whenever you are in hurry and you are moving quickly, that is known as scuttling. Scuttling means jaldi jaldi chalna. Like in the chapter, it is used for the white rabbit, like white rabbit was scuttling. Next word is clutching. Clutching means holding tightly. To hold something firmly. That means किसी चीज़ को बहुत ज़ोर से कस के पकड़ना. Like the white rabbit was clutching a large watch. Or the child was clutching her mother. बच्चा अपनी मदर को कस के पकड़े था. Muttering. To say in a voice that can barely be heard. That means to speak in such a low voice that nobody can hear you. So, that is muttering. In a way, you can say अपने में बड़बड़ाना या धीरे धीरे कुछ बोलते हुए चले जाना. That is muttering. So, rabbit was muttering, I am late, I am late. Curious, strange or eager to know something. So children, word curious has two meanings. First, it means strange, that is unusual, ajeeb. Like when Alice saw the rabbit, white rabbit, running, she was very curious. That means she found it curious, that means she found it very strange. उसे बहुत अजीब लगा. And another meaning of word curious is eager to know something. कुछ जानने के लिए उत्सुक होना. Like children are curious to know what is inside the box. उस बॉक्स में उस डब्बे के अंदर क्या है. Children, बच्चे ये जानने के लिए उत्सुक हैं. So they are curious. Cried, shouted. Cried means to speak very loudly, to shout, chillana. Next is squeezed. Managed to get into or through a narrow space. Squeezed means क्या होता है? अपने आप को सिकोड़ लेना, अपने साइज को रिड्यूस कर लेना. So, when Alice was trying to get into the hold, now when she was trying to get into that hole, that dark hole, what happened? Hole was small and she was big. So what she did? She squeezed, managed to get into or through a narrow space. क्योंकि वो hole छोटा था और उतनी ही space में उसे जाना था. So what she did? She squeezed herself. उसने अपने आप को अपना साइज छोटे करने की कोशिश करी. So that is, she tried to shrink. Parachute, a device like an umbrella. This you all must have seen. Parachute is generally made up of a fabric and it is a flying object, right? And that flies in the air due to the pressure of the air. हवा की मदद से वो ऊपर उड़ता है and it is made up of fabric. So that is known as parachute. Tunic, a short coat. Now, the coat that rabbit was wearing, that is known as tunic. Ruff, a kind of a collar. Collar is generally that we wear around our neck. So, It's a piece of cloth that is wore around a neck. गर्दन के आसपास उसे फ्रिल जैसा पहना जाता है. That is known as collar. Poked, stuck out. Poked generally means that with the help of lot of pressure or with force, you are coming out of something, or something is coming out of some wall or maybe some object. So that is poked. So when Alice ate that biscuit, she grew so big that she poked. Stretched, extended. Khechna, that is stretched. Like the cat stretched its body, उसने अपनी बॉडी को खींचा. Or sometimes things are not approachable, they are not within that area, and you want to get it without moving. So what you do, you stretch your body. आप अगर कहीं बैठे हैं और आपको टीवी का या किसी चीज़ का रिमोट चाहिए, और मे बी वाटर बॉटल उठानी है, एंड यू डोंट फील लाइक मूविंग, then what you do, sitting at that place only, you extend your hand. So you are stretching your body to get something. Next is coming to write one word for the following. To swell out in a spherical shape, that means ballooned. The shape of the balloon is spherical. And to swell out means गुब्बारे की तरह फूल जाना. So the English word for that is ballooned. To fly unsteadily by flapping the wings quickly and lightly, fluttered. Birds, they flap their wings. वो अपने wings हिलाते हैं, move करते हैं बहुत जल्दी जल्दी, and it even creates lot of noise. So that is known as fluttered या fluttering. Next is to be so full as almost to break open. That is, one word for it is bursting. Like in a balloon, if you keep on filling air, what will it result into? After some time, when it is almost filled with air, almost full of air, it will break open. वो फूट जाएगा. So that is bursting. To say something while catching one's breath, gasped. While speaking, if you are breathing with your open mouth, that is known as gasping. Generally, when we run or when we are in hurry, then we gasp. हम मुंह खोल के सांस लेने लगते हैं. That is known as gasping. And at the same time we try to speak also. So that is gasping. To say something while catching one's breath. So these are the 4 write one word for. Now next is coming to true and false. So you'll be able to do true and false if the story is clear to you. Alice wasn't listening to what her sister was reading. True, in the beginning of the story it is mentioned that Alice was not paying attention to what her sister was reading. At the end of the corridor there was a large door. So, children, what was it? At the end of the corridor, yes, there was a door. But was it large? No, it was a tiny, small door. So it is false. After eating the biscuit from the jar, Alice started to grow. Yes, when Alice entered the house of the rabbit, what happened? She was hungry. She saw a jar. Inside the jar, there was a biscuit. She took a bite, and what it resulted into? She started growing. So it's true. After eating the carrot, Alice began to shrink. Of course, yes. She stretched her hand and pulled a carrot from the garden. And when she started eating, जब वो carrot खाने लगी, what it resulted into? she started shrinking. She started reducing in size. So it's true. White rabbit was clutching a bottle. Was the white rabbit clutching a bottle? No. White rabbit was clutching a watch. So the statement is false. So these were the word meanings, true, false, and one word for the sentences. So these you will be completing it in your notebooks. Now next is, who said these to whom? I'm late, I'm late. No doubt White Rabbit said these words to himself because Alice was just listening. So उसने Alice से नहीं कहा, White Rabbit ने अपने आप से कहा. So White Rabbit said these words to himself. How curious! Alice said these words to herself. And who are you? Caterpillar said these words to Alice. If you remember in the story, when Alice grew very small eating the carrot, what happened? She found a caterpillar. That sleepy caterpillar asked Alice, who are you? So Caterpillar said these words to Alice. And I wish I was little taller. So what was the reply? So this was Alice said these words to Caterpillar. I can help. So these were the words. ये किसने बोले? When Alice said that I wish I could be little taller. Then what happened? Caterpillar suddenly changed into a butterfly. And then Butterfly said these words, I can help. So Butterfly said these words to Alice. A monster. White Rabbit said these words to himself because Alice was inside the house. So Alice could not listen that. So White Rabbit was speaking to himself. So these are who said to whom. So that is all in this class. Thank you.